Deep in the rainforests of Veracruz, Mexico, there's a mystery carved into stone. We're talking about an ancient city that completely vanished from history, swallowed by the jungle for 500 years. This is the story of El Tajín, a city that was, quite literally, lost in time.
I mean, just imagine it. For more than 5 centuries, from the 1200s all the way to the late 1700s, this incredible city was just gone. No European ever wrote about it. It's like a whole civilization got erased, leaving behind nothing but silent, vine-choked pyramids.
The story of how it was found again is almost as wild as the city itself. So how on earth does a forgotten metropolis get rediscovered completely by accident?
Okay, so let's jump right into that moment of discovery. A moment where a totally routine government chore accidentally rewrote a huge chapter of Mexican history.
So picture this. It's 1785, and you're a government official named Diego Ruz. You're trekking through this super dense, remote jungle. You're not looking for ancient ruins. You're looking for illegal tobacco fields. And then, all of a sudden, through the leaves, you see it. This massive, perfectly built pyramid where there should only be trees. He had just stumbled upon the now famous Pyramid of the Niches.
Now, while this was a huge shock to the Spanish, the city wasn't totally forgotten. The local Totonac people, they knew about it. They called it El Tajín, which means of thunder or lightning bolt. For them, it was a sacred place, the home of 12 powerful storm gods who they believed still lived among the ruins.
And wow, what ruins they are! You see, El Tajín isn't just another ancient city. Its architecture is totally unique in all of Mesoamerica. Let's dig into what makes it so special.
The change is just unbelievable. I mean, look at the photo on the left from 1913. The Pyramid of the Niches is almost completely eaten by the jungle. And then on the right, you see the result of decades of careful, painstaking work. It's just an amazing testament to the archaeologist who brought this city back into the light.
So why is this pyramid so famous? Well, look closely at those square recesses covering the sides. Those are called niches. And if you were to count them, not counting the ones on the staircase, which is added later, you would find exactly 365. It's an unmistakable, built-in solar calendar.
But it's way more than just a calendar. Their meaning goes so much deeper. In Mesoamerican beliefs, caves were sacred portals, actual gateways to the underworld, where the gods lived. So each one of these 365 niches was a symbolic cave, making the whole pyramid this incredibly powerful link between our world and the divine.
And the cool innovations don't stop there. The builders here used poured cement for roofs, a technique nobody else in the ancient Americas was using. Those decorative niches, you only find them at El Tajín. And get this, they even designed buildings with special windows just to catch cool breezes in that hot, humid climate. That's some pretty advanced engineering.
All right, so we've seen the incredible buildings, but what about the people? Who actually lived here? Well, their culture was vibrant, it was complex, and it was centered on a sacred ritual that was, quite literally, a matter of life and death.
17! That's how many ballcourts archaeologists have found at El Tajín. 17! That is more than any other known city in Mesoamerica, which tells you right away just how incredibly important the ball game was to life here.
But when we say ball game, you've got to understand this wasn't just a sport. The stone carvings on these courts, they tell a pretty brutal story. On this panel, you can see the climax of the game. One player is being held down while another holds up a knife, about to perform a ritual decapitation.
But here's the thing that's so important to understand. This wasn't a punishment. It was seen as a sacred honor. The carvings actually show the sacrifice player's spirit traveling to the underworld. His mission? To ask the gods for pulque, a sacred alcoholic drink that was vital to their religious ceremonies and community life.
So you have to wonder, right? A city this sophisticated, this deeply spiritual, it must have been incredibly powerful. So how did it get so big? And then why did it all come to such a sudden, violent end?
Well, El Tajín's story spans over 1,000 years. It starts small, just a little settlement in the 1st century. Then, around 600 AD, it just explodes with massive construction. It hits its absolute peak between 900 and 1100, especially after the huge city of Teotihuacan collapsed, creating a power vacuum that El Tajín was happy to fill. But then, sometime in the 1200s, it all just stops.
So what was the secret to its power? You know the old saying, location, location, location. El Tajín sat right on top of key trade routes, basically becoming the gatekeeper for valuable goods. It controlled the flow of things like vanilla and cacao, and it got incredibly wealthy and powerful because of it.
And its end was just as dramatic as its rise. Around the year 1230, the city was attacked and burned to the ground. All the evidence points to an invasion, probably by a group from the north called the Chichimecs. The survivors fled, and the jungle just started its slow, 500-year-long takeover.
But the story doesn't end with fire and abandonment. Today, El Tajín isn't just a pile of ruins, it's a vibrant, living piece of our shared world heritage.
In 1992, its global importance was finally recognized. UNESCO named it a World Heritage Site, praising its one-of-a-kind architecture and its huge cultural significance. And what's absolutely mind-blowing is that archaeologists believe we've only uncovered about half of the ancient cities so far.
That once-lost city is now a major hub. It brings in hundreds of thousands of visitors every year, and it hosts the Cumbre Tajín Festival, this huge celebration of the region's indigenous cultures with music, dance, and art, bringing those ancient plazas back to life. But being rediscovered has brought a whole new set of dangers. A 2007 study raised a major red flag, warning that air pollution from nearby industries is causing acid rain, and it's literally dissolving the priceless, intricate carvings on the monuments at an alarming rate.
Just let that sink in for a second. These incredible structures survived invaders, the complete collapse of their society, and 500 years buried under a rainforest. They made it through all of that to tell their story. But now they're facing this silent modern threat that could erase that story for good.
And that leaves us with a really crucial question. Finding El Tajín again was this incredible gift from the past. But what's our responsibility to that gift now? As we keep uncovering its secrets, the real challenge is figuring out how to protect it from the dangers of our own modern world.